Doofs. I'm Drew.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Laura.
And I'm Sid.
And this is our movie podcast. Pop culture one, too, I guess, right? That works, I think. We've already been drinking. Well, some of us.
We've only been doing this for how many years?
I know.
You had like 2 sips.
I did, but I tried to take a big boy sip just now. But as you all just heard, we have a guest, and that is our pal Sid, who's going to grace us with another classic movie. And this is going to be the reason we're doing this particular movie before we say what it is. But, of course, you've read what the title is because that's how you do things. We're keeping it a surprise. This is our first one this year that's actually dropping. It's like a themed one. We're watching something that has to do with an upcoming movie release. So this will drop, I think, a week prior to the release of its counterpart in films or in films theaters.
We did with Mean Girls.
What?
You said this is the first time we're doing this.
Right.
Laura, you're here? I guess one big boy sip really did have an effect on me
I was like,
already.
did he just black out the whole last
Do you know what year it is?
I was just going to ask. But to get to it, though, when we had Sid over here doing Conan, which, again, most listened to episode of last year.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sid. Appreciate you there. You asked specifically, you were like, if you do this movie, or this movie, I would like to be there. And we had talked and we were like, we got to do this movie. And we're like, we got to get Sid back for this movie. So I am actually very, very happy that you are with us today because I know you've got the facts for us. And this will be a good one. So, Sid, what are we watching today?
We are watching the 1984 Dino De Laurentiis Universal Pictures production of a David Lynch film, Dune.
That's the longest intro we've ever had to a movie.
But it sounded so good. It was so
I
professional.
love it. I know. It was very silky.
We need to take a lesson
Yeah.
from that.
Yes, Dune, 1984, and this will obviously come out before Dune Part 2 in theaters. So we're very excited about this. Yeah. So, Sid, how are you doing, by the way? Before it's been like 6 months since we've seen you here.
I'm doing all right. Still watching weird movies.
Yes, you
nonstop.
are. Yes, you are, and we love it.
What we like to hear.
Awesome. So take us through. What do you have planned for us?
You want the whole general outline?
Give us an
which
outline.
maybe I should give you just so you can help keep me on track.
You got it.
I want to do a quick little intro on David Lynch, who he is, where he came from, how he ended up in the director's chair for Dune. Don't really have to cover Dino De Laurentiis because did a lot of him last time.
But we will get the accent. We will hear Dino.
There'll be at least
Okay.
one like Dino line
All
in
right,
there.
good.
I'll throw one in.
Good.
And then that will segue into the prompts I have for your guesses.
Beautiful.
And we'll watch the movie. We'll do the usual post-movie stuff. Go over your guesses. I would actually that's when I would like to maybe talk a little bit about versions that didn't happen and alternate versions of this film, of which there are a couple. They're interesting. But before we get into any of that, how about a game?
Yes.
Yes.
Very
Okay.
excited after your
Yes.
game last time.
Okay.
Your game last time inspired us. We basically made that our format when we played games beyond. So thank you. Yeah, let's do this.
This one's a little different. I had something else in mind and put a lot of work into that and then scrapped it at the last minute because I was like, it's too much. But my wife had bought a party game for New Year's called Poetry for Neanderthals.
Excellent.
Which is basically like charades, except when it's your turn, instead of like acting out an object or a concept like mime style, you can only use single syllable words.
Okay.
So I thought, let's do some caveman cinema. I'm going to basically give you descriptions of films like caveman style, and you guys have to tell me what they are.
I love this.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love this.
All right, so we'll start with a super easy one. Girl doll, go to real world.
Girl
Ooh,
doll.
Can we just shout it out?
I got it.
Yeah.
Barbie.
Barbie. Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, I thought you were specifically doing caveman movies. So I'm
No,
like,
no, no, no.
I'm like, when is Quest for Fire coming up?
How many
No, no, no.
caveman movies are
Beautiful.
there?
A lot.
It's like 10,000 BC.
So-
Yeah, there's fucking a bunch. Okay, cool.
So
Thank you.
it tends to be a lot easier describing what happens in the movie.
Then like the
But
title.
sometimes I'll throw in an actual like transliterated title
Okay.
because some of these get like
Okay.
a good example of that would be one who jogs fast on sharp part of knife.
One who jogs fast.
Blade Runner.
Yes,
I was
very
Oh,
good, very good.
Brian, nice,
All right,
man.
so
I could
You ready
picture
for
it
real
in my
now?
head. It was
Yeah.
working, but
all right.
All right.
I'm about to get competitive. Watch out.
Space Trip 1+1 Big Chest Badman's Hate.
Space Trip 1+1.
Big Chest
Chest
Badman's
Badman.
Hate.
Man's hate. Space.
Space Trip is throwing me because I want it to be
You wanted to be Star
Pirates
Wars.
of the Caribbean,
Oh,
Dead Man's Chest.
No.
Space.
No.
Space Trip.
Space Trip.
Break it down.
Space. Trip.
Oh, Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan.
Yes, very good.
Oh,
Very good.
Fucking
Okay.
shit.
I don't feel
Bad
bad. I wouldn't
man's
have gotten
chest.
that one.
Wow.
Big Chest Badman.
Yeah, man. Wow, man.
I was thinking chest, literally like a chest, and I was like, Pirates of the Caribbean, but I don't get the star. I don't get the star part.
All right.
Of it.
Okay.
How about this one? Bad feel when no like heights and look down.
It's just me.
Bad feel.
What
no
you
like-
call that feel? When you know like heights and look down.
Vertigo.
Scared of heights.
Vertigo.
Oh.
There we
I was
go.
like scared of heights.
All right. Need to amp this up a little bit.
Okay.
How about man who track and kill beast with 4 legs and horns.
4 legs and horns?
Break it down.
Man who tracks
Man who
hunter.
track and kill beast.
What did you
Yes.
say? What did you
Hunter. 4 legs and horns. I'm like, what has 4 legs and horns? Like a rhino, an elephant,
Deer.
deer
Deer
hunter?
hunter?
Deer hunter.
Yeah, bud.
say? I didn't know that was
Is that
a
a
movie.
movie?
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a fucking great movie. It's a Vietnam movie.
Okay.
Robert De Niro. It's crazy. And Christopher Walken, man.
Yeah.
Walken, like before he's all crazy walking, like him like really showcasing his chops.
Yep.
Russian roulette is fucking wild.
All
Anyway,
right. So, let's see. How about smart man nude on chair think up big bomb?
Oppenheimer?
Yep.
Think of Big Bob.
That was really quick for me. I don't know why.
All right. This one, either you guys will jump on it, or
okay.
we'll have to work at it.
Okay.
Tall house that scrape sky, catch flame.
Catch what?
Flame.
Flame?
Big flame.
So a skyscraper that's on fire? Isn't there like a
Yes.
skyscraper movie? Isn't it just called Skyscraper?
That's not it.
No. We're not thinking of that Rock the Dwayne Johnson
Catch
one
the-
or the
like,
one
catch
that- okay.
the
Die
Flames?
Hard.
Okay. So tall. What was it again?
Tall house that touch
Tall
sky
high
or
house,
scrape
okay.
sky, catch flame.
I'm not good at these.
All right. Tall house that touch sky. So I'm thinking of a tall building.
Word for big flame.
Inferno. Towering Inferno.
There we go.
So skyscraper, but the real
Yeah.
one.
But
The one with OJ, right? No.
yes, the one with OJ. Well remembered. You guys want to do one more?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. This is a transliterated title, so this is going to be weird. Oh boy. No can stand feel of much stone pull to earth. Big skill.
No can stand, so I don't like, or something that you don't like. Big stone pulled to earth. So we're talking about a meteor, or no?
Like, not even close.
Wait,
you
so
say- can you
is
say
this
it
the
again?
actual title of the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Say it again.
No can stand. Feel of much stone pulled to earth. Big skill.
Big skill.
Skill, yes.
Skill. Okay. No can stand.
Well,
Is no can stand like? Is that fall or is it like don't like?
oh, yeah, that's a good one. I was thinking don't like. But if it's fall,
if it help,
if it help.
feel of
Big stone pulled.
much stone pulled to earth, same as when go to gym, what you lift to get strong.
Wait.
Yes.
Okay.
Unbearable weight
Oh.
of massive talent.
Yes.
That's great.
That was really good.
Well done. Well done.
Without that hint,
Yeah,
we would still be here. So
that was fun.
that was very
My
good.
brain
Yeah.
doesn't work that way apparently. Now I know.
Ideally, if I had had more time to prep, I probably would have brought like a huge bowl of just like, movie titles, and we would all like go through and pick one. But
Okay. That was good. That was very, very good.
I'm glad you guys like that.
My favorite
great.
part was you doing the hints in the same single syllable.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the way you have to do when you
I love
actually
that.
like play the actual game.
Beautiful.
You can't use any
Yeah,
words with more than one syllable, and it gets really annoying.
I love that.
But it's
Awesome.
fun. Okay, so how's everybody doing? We ready for some David Lynch?
Yes.
You
Oh,
doing?
Okay. So now, Brian, you've seen like the Twin Peaks pilot, right?
Yeah, watch the
But
Twin
that's-
Peaks pilot.
That's the only David Lynch you know?
Yes.
Okay. And Laura,
I've seen some Twin Peaks, but that would
some
be
Twin
the same.
Peaks? Okay.
I've
All
seen
right.
a bunch of David Lynch.
I know you've seen him.
Well, I
Okay.
don't know if I have. I don't know what else he does, so maybe I have. I don't know.
You, I don't know.
Well, if you're gonna say what he's done, then I'll let you know.
All right. Well, we'll start at the beginning.
Okay.
Dune was his third feature film as a director, so we're not going to go very far. This is not the Blue Velvet episode.
Yeah.
This is the Dune episode. So we're just going to cover up till that point. Basically, he born in Missoula, Montana, and then moved around a whole lot, like all throughout his formative years. He's lived all over this fine American country, and was very hands-on, likes to tinker, likes to build things. He was an Eagle Scout. When he got into his teens, he decided he wanted to be a painter, and that is something he has continued to do to this very day. But it was looking at a painting that he was working on and not terribly being pleased with it. He just kind of said, what it really needs is like a wind. If I could have like a wind blow through, and you could see the branches move, and then have that noise, that then it'd be perfect. Right now it's just okay. So somebody said, there's a medium you can do that. So he bought himself a film camera and started messing around. He put together one of his first big famous film projects. It's called Six Figures Getting Sick. It's a 1-minute loop of animation that has an air raid siren blaring behind it that was designed to be projected on a one-of-a-kind 3-dimensional sculptured screen. So there's a lot going on right there. And it definitely caught some people's attention, led to him getting commissioned to do another short film for somebody, and then applying for and receiving a grant to do another short film. And eventually he decided, hey, I kind of like this. I can do a lot of different things, because he was also getting into sound design. He was also enjoying writing dialogue and writing characters. He's like, I can do everything. It's cool. So he went to California and was part of the inaugural class for the Center for Advanced Film Studies, which we now know as the American Film Institute.
Mm-hmm.
And it was there that he applied for and received a $10,000 grant to basically film a feature-length student film. That became Eraserhead. The thing is, he burned through that 10 grand real fast. He basically had to drop out of school. He spent 5 years shooting in fits and starts, making Eraserhead. Did not want to give it up. Came very close several times, but he pushed it on through, and he did it. He finally got it made, and it was snapped up for distribution almost immediately by a guy named Ben Barenholtz, who was basically kind of like the main architect behind the whole like midnight movie thing in the 70s and 80s. And Eraserhead, for those who haven't seen it, is a dream of dark and disturbing things, I think is what's actually written on the title page of the script. It is a nightmare. It's a nightmare put on film. It's really... to this day, it is still used as a yardstick for how fucked up a movie is. Is it Eraserhead fucked up?
Yes.
I know I've heard of it, but I can't.
Yeah, I've
picture it.
definitely seen like the title.
But-
I'm pulling up the image, the poster image.
It's like
Yeah.
black and white.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
this is where Kramer's hair came from. I don't know if
Oh.
that's true. It's not an
I mean,
actual fact,
It
but
seems right. Yeah.
yeah.
But-
It's wild because didn't he also shoot it in like the stables at
Yep,
the
stables
at
at
AFI?
AFI.
Oh wow.
And at some point, he was basically homeless. He was living on the sets.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it got released. Actually made, I think, like $7 million
Wow.
over a couple years. Turned out to be pretty successful for him. Got a lot of eyeballs on it. A lot of important people saw it. Famously, Stanley Kubrick, I think, owned a print of it, and he screened that for the cast and crew of The Shining before they started shooting.
Nice.
to show them exactly the feeling of like overarching dread that he wanted to pervade the
Wow.
entire thing. So, yes.
Sorry, that's another movie. Just because we were talking earlier before we were recording about a movie that's out now with a very unique sound design to it, and Eraserhead. Now that I think of it, has a very I'm trying to think of the right word for it. It's like disturbing. The sound edit on that movie is like it just, as I think you kind of said, it's just increasing and intensely like coming dread and stress is the soundscape on that movie, and it's wild.
To check it out.
It's a I don't want to call it a rough watch. It's an very interesting.
Honestly, it gets funnier every time I see it.
I love that.
It's very dark, but there is some humor in it, and it's a very peculiar kind of humor, but it's really good. Also has my all-time favorite, most convincing special effect ever, the baby.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No spoilers.
Oh,
Yeah, I forgot about that thing.
Just knock out a double
how do you
feature.
how do you forget the baby in Eraserhead?
It's been a while.
Block it out.
I had to.
Anyway, one of the people who saw Eraserhead was a producer named Stuart Kornfeld, and he was working for somebody you've actually heard of, Mel Brooks.
Yes.
Mel Brooks, toward the end of the 70s, was putting together a production company because he wanted to kind of use his clout to branch out and be able to like help other projects along without having to slap Mel Brooks Presents on the top of it. Because that paints a certain kind of image and expectation, and he wanted to try and get some dramas and romances and weirdo art films and all sorts of
I
stuff
was gonna
made.
say some weird art house
So-
bullshit.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he created this company called Brooks Films, which, while it does have his name in it, is still very bland sounding, just unassuming, and it's worked very well. Did you know that the David Cronenberg remake of The Fly is a Brooks Films
I didn't.
production? Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
Brian's seen that. Laura, I don't know if you've seen it. I imagine it's a Jeff Goldblum
That's-
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mel
A
Brooks
long
Presents.
time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was still in the late 70s. He was still trying to build it up and trying to search out some talent. And he was working with this producer, Stuart Kornfeld. Kornfeld saw Eraserhead, said, "Holy shit, Mel's got to see this." He brought it to Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks saw it and said, "Oh my God, I have to meet this man."
Yeah.
And so they got together, and Mel Brooks liked him immediately and asked what he would like to do. Lynch pitched this idea called Ronnie Rocket that he still has not gotten made. It's really out there. And Mel Brooks basically said, "Oh, okay, pump the brakes, kid. Let's see if you can do something with a script that's already there.
Yeah.
Like, let's see how you handle a script we already have on hand, because we're developing several projects. So let's go through what we've got and see if anything fits." So he says, first one, The Elephant Man. Lynch goes, "That's it."
Yeah.
Never hears the rest of them. Lynch had at this point started practicing transcendental meditation, which has been like a huge part of his whole persona for a long time. He's very in tune with things. He vibes with things. He occasionally feels like impulsive, but it's really, he's just going with his gut. Strange cat. But that's how he ends up directing The Elephant Man, which is true story based on the life of John/Joseph Merrick. There's been some historical debate about what his actual first name was, but Mr. Merrick was a sideshow carnival worker with multiple deformities that was rescued from the circus life by a prominent physician. The film stars Anthony Hopkins and Sir John Gielgud and Wendy Hiller and Mel Brooks' wife, Anne Bancroft, and John Hurt as the Elephant Man. He's completely... He just disappears under the makeup. You don't even know it's him. And this is actually a really phenomenal film. It's very good. I highly recommend it. You will not get through it dry-eyed. It has the nightmare kind of qualities of Eraserhead, like, woven throughout it, but it also has another, what would become another Lynch trademark. He's a very corny guy, and he is... In any other hands, it might have been very maudlin and syrupy and sentimental, and it kind of is those things, but it's cut by that darkness that's woven through it. It feels just very honest and very sincere, and it's really wonderful.
I rewatched it like 2 years ago, I think. It's so good.
It's really good. Nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Score, Best Film Editing, Best Costume Design, Best Art Direction, Best Actor for John Hurt, Best Screenplay. It was Christopher DeVore, Eric Berggren, and David Lynch actually got a screen credit because he worked on some of the rewrites. Best Director for David Lynch, and Best Picture, which is kind of a long way to go from Eraserhead in one step.
Right.
It did not win any of those, but it definitely made him buzzworthy.
Right.
So after Elephant Man, he starts getting all sorts of interesting offers. Famously, Tom Mount, who was head of production at Universal, desperately wanted David Lynch to direct this hot new script he had called Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And when Lynch finally got the script in hand and he's reading it, he's like, why the fuck do they want me on this? And he's like, okay, whatever. He passes on that, but that actually kind of makes sense from like a studio perspective, because one of the things that emerges from Elephant Man is that Lynch was already back then developing this like legendary rapport with his cast. He is a very good director with actors, and he gets a lot of repeat performances throughout his career. You see a lot of the same faces coming back for more, because they know, like, once they've worked with him, they know that what they're getting into, and they know that they're in good hands. And obviously, if you're looking at like a teenage comedy with a lot of like up and coming talent already starting to get attached to it, what better director than somebody who's very good with that sort of thing?
Right.
But he passes on that. He's on the short list for Return of the Jedi, pretty much for the same reason, because George Lucas famously didn't really enjoy directing people. He was really good with the little models, not so much with the people. Faster and more intense was his standard go-to
Yes.
go-to direction. So that's why he did not direct Empire. but he was for Jedi. He was looking for a younger, more inexperienced filmmaker that was good with actors that would not mind giving up on the rest of the stuff and letting George micromanage it. And Lynch again passed on that, but he started to realize he's like, if I keep passing on stuff, I'm not going to have a career. I'm going to be that guy who always says no.
Yeah.
So he's starting to get desperate. He's really wanting to make his Ronnie Rocket. It's not happening. So meanwhile, in Europe, Dino De Laurentiis, our pal Dino, and his daughter Rafaela are trying desperately to get Dune made. And they've lined up Ridley Scott to direct. But Ridley Scott has not been happy with any of the scripts that have been coming in. And every new version is weirder and further from what it should be. And finally, Ridley Scott, one of his brothers, dies very quickly and unexpectedly. And that kind of lights a fire under him. He's like, this Dune project is conservatively 2 to 3 years from filming. At this point, he's like, I want to make something now. So he jumps ship and attaches himself to a project that's about ready to shoot, and that's Blade Runner. So Team De Laurentiis is not happy, and they're looking around, casting around, and Rafaela sees Elephant Man and thinks, okay, this is a weird choice, but Dad, what do you think of this guy? They set up a meeting, and Dino De Laurentiis, famously difficult man, loves David Lynch. David Lynch loves Dino. David Lynch loves Rafaela. They all get along. They all see eye to eye. Lynch sees that these are very passionate people who love making movies. They've made it their life's work, and he just sees like all that legacy and all that history of talent that has passed through their lives, and he's like, okay, still not hooked on this Dune thing, but he's talking to Dino, and Dino finally offers him something that nobody else had really even brought to the table, and that's, well, this will be like a multi-film thing, and if you make multiple Dune films, because they were already lining up sequels, because he really wanted this to be his Star Wars, then maybe in between we can do some of your. So it comes down to you make my Dune, and after we make your little rocket man thing. So that's how they finally hooked him, and he kind of knew it was a devil's bargain going in, but he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So, knowing what you know now, and just wanted to check, like, we've all seen the Denis Villeneuve Part 1.
Yes.
It came out in 2021, right? All right, so...
Timothée, yep.
Timothée, yes. So we
Is
all...
that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, shit. I've been saying Timothy.
I've been saying Timothy, too.
No, it is actually Timothée.
I just call him Space Jesus.
He doesn't.
Space Jesus.
Nobody actually calls him that, though.
Yeah,
That's
right?
how it's actually
Timmy?
pronounced. Yeah.
Timmy. Yeah.
Timmy.
I mean, it sounds much better with his last name. Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée.
Yeah, Timothée
I
Chalamet.
can't. That's like a tongue twister.
Timothée Chalamet.
But yes, we have all
So-
seen it. Yep.
So we all know, like, the basic setup and the basic characters, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So what I thought would be fun is to hear you guys try and cast this movie.
Ooh.
Push your minds back to the early 1980s. Who are we casting as our Paul Atreides?
Paul's Timothy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't look on your phone.
Timothée.
Don't
Get
look
it.
No,
at
no, I'm
characters.
not.
I need, like a list of 80s
That's
actors.
what I'm-
that's
exactly what I'm
so bad at
Googling.
that. So I'm gonna do the same thing that you're doing because I just can't think of.
I'll cut out
actors.
some of the silence in post.
So he would be like a young kid.
Yes.
What
yeah,
year was
that's
this?
good.
84.
Yep.
They were shooting this, I think, in 82.
Okay.
Famous.
So they shot for most of 1982 and then did a lot of, or maybe it was beginning of 83. And then they spent like almost a year doing like post-production nonsense.
Are they people that we would
Yeah.
know? It's
Yeah,
not like a, okay.
Like Dreamcast it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Are we trying to actually guess who's in this, or are we
A little
doing
little
our
both.
ideal cast.
A little both.
Because I think I do know
I'll
who
tell
plays
you-
Paul in this movie. It's the one actor that I know,
Okay. Who's that?
and I don't remember his name. But it's the guy from Twin Peaks,
Okay.
the detective.
Okay, the detective. I was going to say you got to be a little more specific
Yeah.
because there
I
are
forget
no
the
less
actor's name though.
there are no less than 6 future Twin Peaks cast members
Oh
in
shit!
this cast.
I don't remember anyone else from Twin
Uh,
Peaks. I just remember
His,
that guy.
his name is Kyle MacLachlan.
Kyle MacLachlan. Yes.
Yes. Did you ever watch
He's
Portlandia?
great. Yeah. He's the
Yeah,
mayor.
the mayor. Yeah.
Yeah. He's great. I like him.
Yeah. And Sex in the City. You know that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he got the role at the last minute. Anybody want to take a stab at some of the other actors that were considered? There was one that they were actually legal was writing out his contract, and I told you that one, so you can't answer.
I don't remember who it was, though.
Drew.
I don't remember now.
I'm just not good at this.
I want it to be like, not Arnold, but like, I want it to be like,
Kevin Bacon. I
ooh,
don't know.
Ooh, Kevin
That's a
Bacon.
good
That's,
one.
that's actually a really good one. I like that.
let's put that down.
Harrison Ford.
Okay.
Weird timing.
Like he's a little old, right?
Not at the time. This
Well,
is like
Well,
But if he's
McLaughlin-
playing a young
McLaughlin's
kid.
a little older than
This would have been like
Timothy.
right around the time of Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So-
Okay.
Probably a little old.
Movie magic, though.
All right, who are we casting as Duke Leto?
The father.
Thank you.
And that was Oscar
Oscar
Isaac.
Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. Yep.
Ooh, I just saw a good one.
Burt Reynolds.
Robin Williams.
Mel
Reynolds?
Gibson.
Gibson.
Mel
Ooh.
Gibson's very good.
Or Dennis Quaid.
Ooh, I'm a big Dennis Quaid fan.
Maybe
Felt
Kurt
he
Russell.
was Kurt Russell.
There we go.
Okay.
Dreamcast.
Any other names or
No.
okay?
I gotta save some for the other
How
one.
about how about Lady Jessica, Paul's mom?
Let's see.
Sharon Stone.
Hmm.
Oh, she's more 90s recognized. When was Total Recall? Was late 80s.
That was I think 90 or 91.
Oh, shit. You're right. Okay, yeah, no.
But
Scratch
the
Sharon.
Alan Quartermain films were in the 80s. In those. Richard Chamberlain.
I'm going to scratch her out, though. No, we'll keep her down, but let's see. Who else? Who was in Weird Science? Who was...
Kelly LeBron.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah.
You're probably not going to get this one.
Like everyone that I'm looking at is too old. I don't know. Goldie Hawn. That's not it.
Goldie Hawn.
Is Sigourney Weaver too young at this point?
I mean, she had done Alien. I mean, she could play the mom, sure. Listen, she can play a teenager apparently
Yeah.
now, so she can play the
Yeah,
mom in
right.
this. Yeah, at 70, she can play a teenager. So that's an Avatar 2
right.
reference for anybody. She
I got it.
I know. I'm telling the audience. You know,
Any other names for
Okay.
Lady Jessica? Okay. So what about Duncan Idaho, who is Jason Momoa in the
Beefy
new
boy.
version?
I liked him. Okay.
We need Arnold for this one.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Arnold?
Yeah, let's get Arnold in there.
Patrick
Get
Swayze.
Arnold.
Swayze.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's actually very good.
Oh man! Which, by the way, did you see the trailer for Roadhouse
Yeah, but it's
with Jake
yeah.
with Gyllenhaal?
It's good.
Yeah, it looks sleazy. That's why it looks good. Yeah. I mean, the first
I just
fucking,
yeah, the original
fucking
Patrick.
Roadhouse was sleazy in the beginning. I remember.
Yeah.
I'll watch it, but
Hell yeah. Sorry. Anyway, so we said
So
Swayze.
we got Arnold and
Arnold and
Patrick
Swayze.
Swayze.
No in between. I think that's it.
Jack Nicholson.
Nicholson.
Real
Okay.
weird, different direction.
Hey, okay.
Okay, sure. Now, how about Gurney Halleck, who is Josh Brolin in the new one?
I cannot
Who's
guess
that?
because this is my most excited casting of this entire thing. Josh Brolin was he was like the military guy, the head military guy in the new one. He's like he was training him with the little boxy things.
Oh,
And
so
I
he's
showed you
like-
his picture, and you were like, "He's the guy who was training him."
Oh, yeah, so he's not in it very much.
Yeah, I mean, he was in it. We get probably like 20 minutes out of 3 hours.
Richard Gere.
Ooh.
That's really good.
Okay.
Laura, I
Chuck Norris.
fuck.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, that's
Or he shows up with a
Fantastic.
fucking cowboy hat and a bandana.
Shit. God
That's
damn,
really
that's good.
good.
that is good. Yeah.
What about John Malkovich? Is that, how old is he at
Malkovich,
that point?
Oh, I have a guess for Paul. Ralph
Oh.
Macchio. Is he too young for that though?
We can
Debatable.
put him down.
Okay.
He's available.
No, I said debatable.
Oh.
Oh. Okay. Sorry. Go back.
All right. This one's tricky because he's barely in the new movie. The character is Thufir Hawat. He's the House Atreides Mentat. He's played by Stephen McKinley Henderson, who was the therapist in Beau Was Afraid at the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't know who we're talking about.
Each house has a Mentat in the Dune universe.
what's a Mentat?
They're basically human computers.
Oh yeah. This the guy in Empire Strikes Back who has the who's the human computer.
Lobot?
Sure, yeah,
I want to
Lobot.
repurpose my John Malkovich. I feel like
Ooh.
that's John Malkovich.
Oh, that's pretty good.
William Shatner.
Shatner.
Oh.
Shatner. Okay. How about the traitorous Dr. Yui?
Who's that? Oh, the guy that put the tooth with the powder.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I think I know who this actually is. Is this somebody who is a horror movie icon in the actual and was also in a fantasy movie in somebody who voices a character in a horror series?
Why
I
don't you
wanna
just say it?
No.
You
No.
know what I'm
Jesus.
talking
No,
about, right?
now I know who you're talking about. No.
This one's
not Dr. Yui.
hard.
Okay. I have no idea.
'Cause they gotta be like sneaky.
Who's cunning
Yeah,
back in the 80s?
Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon. Ooh.
Laura.
I just have a list of
Yeah.
80s actors.
He's a little skeezy.
Yeah.
He looks pretty skeezy.
All right. Yeah, okay.
All right. We're just going to go with Matt
yeah,
Dillon.
I can't think of anybody else.
All right.
Christian Slater.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
But he's
my-
more Paul Atreides at this point in his
Yeah,
career.
yeah. He would have been a little young.
Yeah.
A little
You're a
young to have been
doctor?
t- yeah.
I'm a doctor. Like, I don't trust this guy. Don't bite down. Like, poison tooth. Sorry.
All right. How about some of the Fremen? Stilgar, who is Javier Bardem in the new one.
He was Zendaya's like the leader of that tribe.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
don't remember seeing him in
He
that.
was in it for
Right at the end, only for a
yeah,
little
we
bit.
saw him once early on, and then we saw him at the end. That was it. Yeah.
Sylvester
Not early
Stallone.
on. Stilgar Stallone, huh?
Oh yeah, I guess it needs to be a big boy, huh?
Let's go Morgan Freeman.
Morgan
Morgan Freeman. Okay.
I want Morgan Freeman.
Morgan
I
Freeman.
know I already said Mel Gibson for another one, but I like that for this too. Yeah.
Okay.
Could it be
Okay.
Mickey Rourke?
Oh shit!
Mickey
that should
Rourke.
Mickey Rourke should be fucking Duncan, Idaho.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Ooh, okay. All right. How about Chani, who is Zendaya in the new one?
Oh, that's the one that's hard 'cause it's gotta be young.
What's her name from the
Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald?
Ooh.
Okay.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
I know it's not Molly Ringwald, but
I'm really
that's all I
thinking
got.
of I'm really thinking of the lead actress in Blade Runner. I can't remember her name, but everyone said she's kind of crazy.
Sean Young?
Yeah, Sean Young. That's who.
Catwoman?
Catwoman. Yeah, goes to the studio. Yes, that's why I said Pfeiffer. Yeah, Sean Young. That's who I think.
Anybody else? All right. How about the Harkonnens?
Yes.
Or the Harkonnens. Apparently, Harkonnen is the actual correct pronunciation, which bugs the shit out of me because I grew up saying Harkonnen.
Yeah. Those are the bad guys. The weird, like Batista
So-
and
The Baron
the ball.
Harkonnen is the big fat guy on the repulsors who like floats around, played by Stellan Skarsgård.
Laura's like, did I see this movie?
I don't remember the name. I saw
Who's-
it once. I don't remember their names.
It was the big long guy.
You saw it yesterday.
The Emperor?
Well, he's not the
No.
emperor, but we never meet the emperor in this. In
Oh,
the
I thought
first,
he was the
but
Emperor.
yeah, he's like the stinky, gooey guy.
The one that gets the poison, but then they put him in that like pot.
Yeah.
Of
Yes.
tar-
Yeah.
I thought he was the Emperor. Okay.
Nope, that's
He's-
the Baron.
He's the sticky boy.
Sticky boy.
Dan Aykroyd.
I was gonna say Aykroyd.
Really?
I just think that'd be very. Very
Aykroyd.
good.
Okay.
Wow, fuck.
That is a choice.
Wow, man.
De Niro.
Oh man, Marlon Brando.
Ooh,
Brando.
Brando's very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Italian. Let's go Italian with these.
Oh,
With this clan.
Let's go Brando.
right.
ooh, I like John Travolta for that one.
That's another gooey boy.
Lots of good
Al
bullets.
Pacino.
Okay. It's not like John Travolta's ever been involved in any like weird, questionable sci-fi stuff. Okay, so the Harkonnen Mentat, Peter de Vries, who is
Batista?
nope,
Oh.
not yet.
I'm like, I
David
don't-
Dastmalchian.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think we're going a little too deep for me to remember
Yeah.
who these people are.
That's
Just-
because he gets very little screen time in the
Just
new
think of some skinny boy. Some gothy skinny boy. That's all you got to think of.
Gothy skinny boy.
Yeah, think gothy skinny
in the
boys.
okay.
Willem Dafoe.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny
Ooh,
Depp.
there we
He's
go.
the- yeah, I guess he's just a real young.
He's young. Yeah, he was in friggin' Nightmare on Elm Street was
Yeah.
his first one. I want Johnny Depp.
why can't I think of his name? Oh my goodness. We were just talking about him.
Michael J. Fox.
No, The Fly. What the hell?
Oh,
is it?
Goldblum.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
skinny
Oh.
boy, skinny goth boy. I like
Yeah.
it. Okay. Ah,
Okay, now the Dave Bautista character from the new one is the Beast Raban.
okay.
He is the Baron's nephew.
Stallone.
Going Stallone
I'm going
on
Stallone.
Beast.
Yeah, it's either that or Arnold could play him too. Arnold's beefy enough in that.
You're never gonna guess it. I'm gonna give you a really weird hint.
Yeah.
That is 100% accurate. This person played a very recognizable comic book villain in a comic book movie from the early 80s.
Danny DeVito? No, I'm kidding. The actor you're saying
Yeah.
actually played in the early 80s.
I need a theme. I don't know.
Max von Sydow? No. I'm like,
It's just the Batman movies, right?
well, I mean, Superman movies were in the
Okay.
like 70s, 80s. I'm like, who? I'm like, it's not Hackman. I'm like, was it? No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, let's jump. Let's go.
Okay. So there's one other Harkonnen nephew that we haven't met
This I
in
know.
the new version. Yeah. They held him off to part 2, and he's kind of very important because he actually is a big character. In the new version, if you haven't seen the trailer, he is played by Austin Butler, fresh off his portrayal of Elvis. And there's something about that casting because the role does kind of call for a certain rock star energy. And there's precedent for this because in one of the unmade versions of Dune, Mick Jagger was attached to the role.
Oh.
Nice.
There is a genuine, world-class, globally famous rock star as the Harkonnen Feyd-Rautha in this film.
I recuse myself from guessing.
Before you
Okay.
said that it was an actual rock star, I was going to say Rob Lowe.
Oh,
But
Rob Lowe's good. I was gonna guess Nick Nolte,
rock star.
but it's a genuine rock star.
Early 80s rock star.
Early '80s rock star. Is that too early for Axl?
Mm, okay.
A little early for Axl Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
You're thinking a little too rock. A little too
Too
much
rock?
too much rock. Think more around like Rolling Stones rock and roll, not Guns N' Roses rock and roll.
Guns N' Roses is
Bruce
like
Springsteen.
Pretty hard
Bruce Springsteen
for like
is very good.
That's all I got.
Springsteen. Could you imagine the boss? Like, I'm gonna fight you now. That's for you, Beamer.
Anyone?
Bruce Springsteen.
Besides Bruce Springsteen? Any other guesses?
No.
Nobody can think of any other rock stars with like a Jagger-esque physique?
Elton John.
Elton John. Maybe,
It's just
maybe
Paul
possibly.
McCartney.
He was so
Just
coked
fucking
up at
Paul-
that point, he could have done it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not even.
Freddie Mercury.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, nope. That's who I was. I was just.
Did you say Bruce Springsteen again?
I was thinking of Freddie Mercury.
Oh,
Who's the guy from Queen?
Who's the guy? That's literally what I was going to say.
okay.
Oh God.
Okay. So while we're talking about rock stars, this film has a score that was composed, performed, arranged, and produced by a chart-topping 80s rock band.
Now this I have no
AC/DC.
idea.
AC/DC.
Genesis.
Is this but this band is not associated with the actor portraying the rock.
Correct.
Okay, good. Because I
Yes,
didn't want to.
that is correct. They are not even close.
An 80s rock band.
Yep.
Journey. This is a very
Journey?
Foreigner.
Foreigner. Oh shit.
Foreigner. Okay.
Who does Barracuda? That's
It was Heart, right?
yeah.
I think Heart's doing the score
Fuck
here?
yeah. Like who does like spacey rock?
I'm surprised you haven't gone the obvious route, which is, well, who's a big film composer now, who used to be in a rock band in the 80s?
Howard Shore? No,
Danny Elfman?
James. Oh, Elfman? I was like
You don't
James.
think the Mystic Knights of Oingo Boingo have it in them to do a Dune
no idea
score?
who that is. James Newton Howard? Wasn't he? He was in Elton John's like back.
Weird Science. You just brought up Weird Science. Weird Science was an Oingo Boingo song.
I didn't know that.
Kids these days.
Okay. No, I think.
I can guarantee you have heard their biggest hit.
Okay.
Like you know it.
Yeah.
It's not like some weird obscure thing that has fallen by the wayside. In fact, there was a movie, I want to say it was 2022, a big sci-fi film that opened with the two main characters singing their biggest hit and arguing about the lyrics. So it's still floating around in the zeitgeist, this song.
Fair. And I think I remember something like this, and I just don't remember what movie that was or what the song. Okay. All right.
One more chance on the Rockstar stuff.
Nope.
There was one theme that the main band did not write that was contributed by another rock artist,
Jesus.
former glam rocker, now known more as a producer and like ambient, like soundscape kind of stuff.
Trent Reznor.
Trent Reznor? Okay. 1984 Trent Reznor?
Early stuff.
Yeah, that's
The early
real
jams.
early.
The early jams. No.
All right. Let's see. Anybody want to take a gander on where this was filmed?
Italy.
Nevada.
I was gonna say in the U.S. Yeah, in the desert.
I feel like De Laurentiis was looking for the cheapest place to film.
Well, he found it.
not the U.S.
Where they filmed Star Wars, the first Star Wars?
Tunisia?
Tunisia. Yeah, let's do that. Sandy.
Okay.
Sandy.
Borrowed the set from Lucas.
Mm.
All right.
It's like a sandbox in the backyard. No. Okay.
So that's about all I got.
Cool.
Perfect.
Anybody have anything else they want to ask about? the world of Dune? If there are any confusions or.
I think we're all gonna feel confused with this, because like from I was telling Sid here that like things I remember is like it's like it starts and it's not like watching Dune like we the one where you it's like hey, let's just fucking go wild. Let's just start off wild.
I'm ready.
So
Cool.
yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited. All right,
Let's do this.
let's Dune this.
Doing this.
Doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, Toto.
Ryan Eno?
I know the name, but I don't know who.
I don't remember what band he's from.
I recognize the name, yeah, but
He produced David Bowie's Berlin trilogy and also U2's Joshua Tree album.
Hell yeah. I love this thing. Those little legs?
yeah.
Yeah.
I want that on a popcorn bucket.
I'm speechless with that.
I'm surprised that Brian and Laura have not just been like, what the fuck is that?
I love it.
Is that thing actually in the book?
That doesn't show up until the second book.
Okay, so it's not something David Lynch was just like, it'd be great. A floating head vagina.
Okay, someone had to say that's exactly what that looked like.
But let's make it have real eyes that look into your soul.
Like, I don't know why they had to make it move like that.
Art direction by Georgia O'Keeffe. The band is here.
Oh, fucking
Whoa,
Dean
shit.
Stockwell,
Whoa.
man. I forgot Dean Stock. Oh, you're talking about Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's like the one person we didn't guess. What
And he's
the
got a cool guitar.
fuck are those eyebrows?
What's he doing with that Dune popcorn bucket?
Did he ask for extra butter?
More butter.
He just kept pumping more butter into it.
Very close to Duke Leo. This person, this traitor, will be worth more to us than 10 legions of Sardaukar.
And who is this traitor?
I won't tell you who the traitor.
No, I'll never tell.
Yeah. Now I need that visual representation they do in like all movies to show a black hole where they fold a piece of plate paper and just poke a hole through the
Yeah.
paper and then open it up and they're like, here you are.
Yeah, that's not what we get here. The original script and storyboards for this
There he is.
were a
Sorry,
lot
yeah.
weirder.
Oh.
And they're like, we don't know how to film this, David.
Gosh, this looks so bad.
Is he just pooping out spice? Nope. It's coming out of his face. Never mind. Oh, it's coming out of his
Whoa.
his hole. That's the best I can say.
Oh my god. What's happening? I actually have no idea what is happening. Like what is
It's a wormhole.
his little hands? I can't help it.
Is that a like we know it's his mouth, but when they do the zoom in, it looks like a little pulsating butthole.
No, it definitely is. Like, but that's where his little fingers
Yeah.
are cracking me up, and the little
Yeah.
nub legs.
Reach, you can do it.
I've never seen a movie.
Laura's just agreeing.
Because I was about to say the same thing.
Like,
I think well, you're
From every character, we've seen their inner
Yep.
dialogue, and I don't think I've
Yes.
ever seen a movie that has done that.
I was thinking the
There
same
may be
thing.
reasons. I'm just saying. It's kind of a weird way to
It
go.
feels odd, but I kind of like it. But also,
it's literally exposition. It's just to tell
Yeah.
you so you're not left
Yeah.
too confused. Like,
but almost most of the time that they've done it, I'm like, I could have probably figured out what they were thinking.
exactly. What is it that Brian Cox says in the adaptation? Don't you ever use voiceover in your movie. It is lazy.
You know, we really haven't talked about his eyebrows.
Mm-hmm.
But they are,
There's something.
Well, Martin Scorsese was a huge influence on David Lynch.
They're almost like he could comb them up into his hair, and it would just be
Yeah.
like one thing.
I can't tell if it's a unibrow or not. There's two distinct wings, but I think they're on the same bird.
I don't know. There's a little space
Oh yeah,
in
there's a
between
there's a
there.
little gap in there.
Oh no, the dog can't die. Why are there no dogs in the new one?
What's that?
There's no dogs in the new movie.
Yeah. Probably because they were like, there aren't dogs on a planet. Like, that's an earthly thing. I don't know.
Pugs are the only dogs that survived to the year 10,000.
What is it? I guess that, like, Men in Black was right. Pugs are aliens and not
Yeah.
actually dogs.
It was pugs, and then what were the other ones that they had like little? They were like little Frenchies. So this is
Yeah.
Toto.
Yeah.
Toto.
I don't know why I was thinking it was gonna be like actual Toto songs.
Yeah, I know, I was too.
Bless the rain.
I wasn't thinking composed by
There we
Toto.
go.
Yeah.
Is he just holding the dog?
Yes. Why are you
Yeah.
bringing Pugly into battle?
That's great.
Chinese battle pugs.
Right. Oh my God.
No man left behind.
Okay, I guess.
They move quickly in this tribe.
Yes. She's a woman. She does not get to pick her own name.
Well, literally within a minute, they're like, "All right, you're in our tribe.
Yeah,
Here's
exactly.
your names. Let's go."
Water.
I can't.
He's like, wait.
He has
I
that
gotta milk a
the
cat
Why
that's
was
got a rat duct taped
Yeah,
to
why
it.
is there a rat on it? That poor cat. I
We'll
feel
talk
bad
about
for
that
them.
Oh.
later on. There's some hilarity
Whoa, they
involved
moved
there.
quick.
I want to tell you.
That was a weird kiss too.
Yeah.
Well, when you got that chin,
Yeah, it's a good point. Is Johnny actually gonna get some inner dialogue?
Kissing.
Yeah.
Yet in order to lead them, I must conquer the worm.
Oh, his dialogue is wild.
What a great
Conquer
phrase.
the worm.
Let's conquer the worm.
Now put the face of the worm in the popcorn bucket. And get in front. And conquer that worm.
I always think of Homer Simpson when
Yeah.
I hear that.
Donuts.
Shai Hulud. As opposed to all the other floating
Yeah.
fat men in the movie.
And why wasn't that internal dialogue?
It's the floating fat
Oh,
man.
no.
No.
The fuck is he talking about?
He's literally like, we sent my 2-year-old sister.
Oh.
Yeah, like she has no protection. She's
She
You
is,
don't need it.
she is the most dangerous person in this movie.
Yeah.
And in the sequels, she becomes really fucked up.
And she marries someone.
Yes. Yes, she does.
sort of like Twilight, right? Someone imprints on her.
So she is like Renesmee.
Yeah. Essentially, the Twilight series is just sexy Dune.
Just sexy Dune.
Yeah.
I've always heard that.
Oh my god, I can't.
You don't like dolls and like little kids, right? Yeah.
No.
There's pug endangerment.
That cat with the freaking rat.
PG-13. Did you say pug endangerment?
The way
Wow,
he said
dude.
Wow, deep.
Muad'Dib. Don't mind if I Muad'Dib.
Oh shit! Is it gonna start raining in fucking Arrakis? So that was Dune, 1984. What do you both think?
I was trying to figure out how I could say it like as an inner monologue, but that doesn't really work.
You asked a question. We need to answer.
How am I going to
We'll go
answer this
first.
question? Will Brian go first? No, I liked it. I actually liked it more than I thought I was going to. It was good. Yeah. Fun.
Nice.
A little out there. Some crazy
Crazy visuals.
not even the what they were saying was just out there. I have to control the worm.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
It was pretty wild.
Yeah.
I was surprised that I was right, that John Malkovich was in it, but that he was Paul Atreides. That was wild. I definitely thought it'd be someone else.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. Okay.
So, before we get too far, I did want to mention that, like I said before, Dino was really banking on this being his Star Wars.
Right.
Mhm.
And by the time this was released in December of '84, Lynch was already working on the script for Part 2. And I think they had like Part 3 like in like lined up for the future. The film did not do well. It cost around like 45 million.
Which is a big budget in 1980.
I was going to
Yeah.
say there was a lot of special effects.
It only grossed about 31 million in the
Ooh.
US. Still Lynch's highest grossing film ever.
Mhm.
But Dino, for some reason, couldn't wrap his head around the fact that this was not a big family space adventure.
Yeah.
And really pushed to have like Star Wars style merchandising. So there were some really goofy merchandising decisions made. There was an action figure line to match like the Star Wars toys that are hysterical. They only did a couple of figures. They did a Paul Atreides in his like Atreides uniform. There's a Stilgar. I think there's a Muad'Dib that is basically like Stilgar with Paul's head on it.
Okay.
And they did a Sting one, a Fade Routha that came with the little cat.
Oh my
He had the little cat in the box. And the Baron Harkonnen, who is like, it's this joyously roly-poly, like happy-looking figure, but it's him like in the white strappy suit with the black painted toenails. And it's so freaking weird.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they did molds for a Gurney figure, but it never happened. Lots
Yeah.
of fans have like taken like Star Trek figures and like modded like Gurney
Yeah, yeah.
Halleck figures.
Yeah.
They also had a big worm. I actually had the worm growing up. I wish I still had it because it was great. They also did the Spice Harvester and the little like Sand Scout vehicles that you see. And those aren't in the book, and they're not in the script, and they weren't in the movie. So when they said, well, we've got these toys, but they don't show up in the movie.
Yeah.
What you see in the movie Those are shots they used for the toy commercial,
Shut
spliced into the film.
Stop.
So those are the actual toys.
That's
There
fucking
was
great.
one that I was like, that looks like a toy.
It
in my head.
literally
Yeah.
is.
When, yeah, it was
The
like that
little,
thing
like,
that was
go-
crawling
it was just like,
into the, yes,
yeah.
it looked like it was being pulled into the ship. Yes.
But the toys were not the most egregious merchandising effort. There's an infamous, actually there are a couple different variants, a Dune coloring book and coloring and activity book, like for like ages 4 and up.
I love that.
And
Ooh.
they are very expensive and hard to find, but I got some like scans of some of the best pages to share with you guys.
Share
Made
with
you guys
the class. Oh my
a little-
gosh.
a
Oh,
little
we each get a
packet
coloring book.
Oh.
of some classic Dune scenes.
Oh my gosh,
Which
this is
are-
great.
Holy
Freaking
shit.
Hilarious.
The Dune coloring book.
Oh my god. Vagina mouth is the first one.
Oh, fuck yes. Third stage navigator.
And you will come with a meal to our liking. Pugly.
Yes.
Like the worst looking pug drawing I've
Yeah,
ever
that
seen.
doesn't look like a pug at
I
all.
love how it's also like a
Oh my
coloring
God,
book, but
his
it's telling the
boils.
story.
Yes.
Yes. Meet the Atreides family. Duke Leto.
I'm sorry, I'm
Paul,
going
Yeah,
faster
the,
than
and
everybody.
Jessica.
This was for what age? There's straight up murder in it.
I will burn away the sickness.
Duke Leto and
He
Piter
did
died.
die, yeah. Oh my gosh, and Sting.
Oh, is he in his like naked?
Full stance, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was him coming out of the shower.
That's so great.
It's incredible.
The activity book has really funny pages like
I'm bringing this home for my kid to
Yeah.
I was like, I'm
You
going to
should.
color this, but I don't know which one I want to do first. I obviously, this thing.
it has pages with like the Reverend Mother and it says the Reverend Mother has a secret message. What is she saying? And
You have
it's
to
a
decode
hint,
it?
Hint, hold this page up to a mirror because it's like backwards.
Oh, fuck.
Or
Love that.
yes.
the Baron Harkonnen weighs X number of pounds. There are 2.2 kilograms in a pound. How many kilograms does he weigh?
It's not a fun activity. That's a math problem.
Yeah.
And there's a really funny connect the dots that's very obviously the guild navigator because all you can see are the eyes, the cheeks, and the vagina mouth. You had to connect the dots. Oh my god, it is
I love it.
hysterical. Yeah,
That's so
so
funny.
kind of a misfire on that did not pan out for
It pans out for us because this is great.
oh my god. I would love to get an actual book. But
Oh,
they're expensive. You can find them on eBay, but they're not cheap.
They weren't legs. They were little
Little jowls.
jowls.
Like little
yeah.
jowl, little, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
I
this.
clarified that.
Blend
All right.
the
So some quick fun trivia. This was shot in and around Mexico City because Dino decided to go where he could get the most value. And in the 80s, the peso was so a dollar went a long way. Unfortunately, there were other mitigating circumstances that kind of negated any value he was getting. They shot at Churubusco Studios in Mexico City, one of the biggest soundstage places in the world. And they had just teams and teams and teams of these really talented craftsmen and artisans building these like massive sets. And they were also shooting Conan the Destroyer on the same sets at the same time. So as soon as they were done shooting something, it would be disassembled and rebuilt into like a Conan set, or disassembled, rebuilt into a Dune set, because they didn't have as many sound stages as they needed.
Okay.
So one of the problems is they built them so well. There's that on Caladan, there's that amazing grand staircase set. There's very little shot there because usually when you build a film set, you have like breakaway walls and you can move things around so you can reposition lights and cameras.
Yeah.
They built that like they were building a house.
Oh, God.
They built that solid. And they're like, well, shit, we can shoot from the top or shoot from the bottom. It's like,
jeez.
fuck. There was a lot of miscommunication since they were translating everything. And Dino's speaking in Italian and having it translated into English and then translated into Spanish. So it's just turning into a real mess. Everybody got sick. Everybody got Montezuma's revenge.
Oh, no.
They had to import all the food and water for everybody. At any given point, like 12 to 15% of the cast and crew were sick with diarrhea.
That's why everyone was sweating so much. They all had the flu
Yeah.
or fevers.
Heat stroke was another big problem, especially in those heavy still suits.
You mean they didn't really regulate water?
No, they did
Which
not.
I still think someone needs to
No, but
come up with that
after
technology.
you were shooting for a few minutes in one of those, you could like take off a boot and like turn it upside down and like
Pour out
you know,
all
water
your
your
sweat.
plants. Yeah, they had so many weird issues. Mexico City at the time was one of the most polluted cities on the planet, and just the air quality was so poor. Like people were just getting sick trying to breathe. They're like, "Oh, thank God, we're shooting out in the desert today."
Yeah.
But they they also had frequent brownouts. So the reason that opening narration keeps fading in and out is because every time they tried to shoot it, they'd get like halfway through a chunk and then
Oh gosh.
power goes out, and they're like, "Shit!" And like it was getting toward the end of the shoot, and they were just like running so far behind on so many things, and they were like, "Just fucking cut together what we've got." So that's why it
Oh,
fades
wait,
in and
let
out.
me come
Yeah.
back.
Oh, I almost forgot. Which has
The
always
name
been one
of
of my
the movie,
favorite
Dune.
weird things.
That's so funny.
Let's see. Another problem they had with the miniatures, they would shoot these like glorious miniatures, and they were actually really good. They had some really talented people doing it, but the environment was so bad. They'd start shooting, and then a fly would come like bzzz, and like land on something, and they're like, "Shit."
Oh my god.
So they
Oh,
just had
that's
like
funny.
flies
Yeah,
and
you don't
insects
even
like
think
landing on
about
the
that.
miniatures, and yeah, so that was bad.
They're like, on
And-
Dune, there are giant flies.
So yeah, when stuff like that happened, like they kept having to reshoot and reshoot and reshoot, and the budget kept going up and up and up and up and up, and it just it got to a point where they're looking at the script and saying, "We're just gonna cut this because we're never gonna be able to finish filming the rest of it."
Yeah.
So the entire story arcs were just jettisoned.
Like the
Drew,
kids.
Drew, you had asked about the kids. Okay. You remember in the Denis Villeneuve Part 1, it ends with that knife fight
Yes.
with Jamis, the
Yes.
Fremen.
Yep.
Part of the ending of that, and they actually shot that fight for this version.
Oh, really? Okay.
And they shot some of the stuff that comes later. When they go into the water still and the wind trap, and they've got that huge tank of water, they're actually doing a reclamation ceremony with Jamis. They're like squeezing his water out and returning it to the tribe. But they just kind of cut around like the important stuff there. According to Fremen tradition, once Paul has killed Jamis, he inherits his wife and children.
Oh, fuck.
So those are Paul's like adopted kids
Okay.
that he's training.
Wild.
And his wife, like when they're standing at the very end with the pug, there's a woman standing with him.
Yeah.
That's Paul's wife.
Oh.
Like, yeah. And they ended up just writing her out of the movie entirely.
Yeah, no shit. But like, and Chani's just cool with that. She's like, this is the
Well,
way.
it's a Fremen thing.
Yeah.
Because
These are
actually,
my kids through marriage? No, through death.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, one of the kids was actually Jamis's, and the other was one that he inherited
killed from
when he
Jamis.
killed his father.
Okay.
God's just
Yeah.
Muad'Dib.
yeah.
Muad'Dib.
Let's see. So, okay, let's look at some of your casting because this is
Oh,
I
hysterical.
mean, they got the pug, so.
All right. You guys got Colin McLaughlin. Yep. No Kevin Bacon, no Harrison Ford, no Ralph Macchio. Duke Leto.
Maybe we should do the ones that we got
Yeah.
right, which was none.
None.
Duke Leto. Nobody came close. or Lady Jessica. That's Francesca Annis.
Okay.
I didn't recognize her.
She's not been in a lot, but she's in a movie that I absolutely fucking love and have since I ever first laid eyes on it when I was a little kid, called Krull,
Krull. Yeah.
which also has Freddie Jones, who played Thufir.
Oh.
And he's also the carnival owner in Elephant Man.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And he pops up in some other later Lynch stuff. He's got a very tiny little cameo in Wild at Heart,
first,
where he's at a bar, and they pitch his voice up. So he's like, and it's like, what?
I mean, I honestly don't remember that, but you both are Nick Cage fans. Wild at Heart is a David Lynch, Nick Cage.
okay.
Oh,
Sounds
it's
incredible.
freaking wild.
And Defoe, right?
Willem Dafoe's in
is
it.
like one
Laura
of the
Dern.
bad guys, Laura Dern. It's like described sort of as like it's like a Wizard of Oz, but like a very violent and like on
Okay.
like a runaway movie. It's fucking wild.
That sounds cool.
And it's Cage, like Lynch, like, hey Cage, just go crazy.
Yeah.
I love
Just
it.
take it up. Take it to 11. Then he was like, I can do this all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, just throwing that out there. It's an awesome, weird, fucked up movie.
So let's see. I think Laura, you were the one who mentioned Patrick Swayze for Duncan.
One of them. Yeah.
Patrick Swayze was considered for 2 roles.
Oh, okay.
He was considered for Fade and
Yeah.
also the Beast Raban.
Okay.
Yeah.
The plan being, if he got one of them, like if he got Fade, they'd slim him down.
Yeah.
If he got Raban, they'd beef him up.
Yeah.
But he was on the short list for both of those roles. No Chuck Norris,
funny.
no Richard Gere, no Shatner, but we did get another
Yeah.
Got another
a Star Trek cab. Matt Dillon, oddly enough, which somebody guessed for
think I
Dr.
did
Hewitt.
too,
Yes, Matt Dillon was considered for Paul.
He was the one that the contract was written.
Nope.
Okay.
That was Val Kilmer.
That would have been awesome.
Because Val Kilmer was then unknown.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who he was.
Had he done?
He'd done some like stage
Spy-
stuff.
Oh, he hadn't done.
But he hadn't been in a movie yet.
Okay.
Oddly enough, his first film actually came out before this was released.
Yeah.
Also in 1984. That's Top Secret,
Top Secret. So funny.
which he's not actually in the same scene, but Ian McNeice is in that. He's a British actor, does a lot of stage and television. He's the souvenirs, novelties, party tricks.
yes,
that
yes,
guy.
yeah.
Many years later, and many pounds heavier, he would play Baron Harkonnen in the 2000
Sci-Fi
Sci-Fi
Channel?
Channel miniseries. Yep.
That's the first time I saw Dune. Was that version of Dune?
Okay, which I haven't seen since it came out.
Yeah.
I remember it being a lot closer to the book.
Yeah.
And kind of shabby looking, but
Oh, yeah.
generally okay.
William Hurt was his.
Yeah, William
fucking-
Hurt was Duke Leto.
Yeah.
But that's not a terrible adaptation. It's just a cheap looking one.
Yeah.
And,
Still.
I can handle cheap
Yeah.
as long as the intent is there. Let's see. You guys threw. Oh, wow. Sean Young. You're correct there.
Wait, that was actually Sean Young.
That was Sean Young. Yeah.
Okay, because I wanted to say like she looks a lot like Sean Young, Zendaya.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't recognize who.
Sean Young was also. Have you either of you seen Blade Runner?
No.
No, or 2049 Blade Runner? No.
I may have, but I don't. Yeah, I
Okay.
wouldn't remember.
I'm trying to think what else Sean Young is.
Ace Ventura.
Oh,
I've
She was
definitely seen Ace
she was
Ventura.
the police captain that at the end actually was. I can't remember the football star. The person,
Okay.
But yeah, she was. Yeah, Sean Young has like a history in Hollywood of sort. Was she blacklisted, or she's just kind of like
She's
intense.
kind of a wild child.
yeah. Like we had mentioned earlier when I'd said Michelle Pfeiffer and then I said Sean Young.
Mm-hmm.
Sid said
Yeah.
Catwoman because there's this thing about when they were casting Catwoman for Batman Returns. Sean Young wanted that role so bad.
She was insane.
Like
she would go on like talk shows and stuff in full Catwoman costume.
But she broke into the Warner Brothers lot in full spandex Catwoman to be like, I can do this, and they were like, get out.
That's weird.
That's incredible.
Leave.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's only how we should cast people.
Yeah.
Right, if you're
Who wants
committed,
it the
yeah,
the
show
most?
me your commitment.
So-
You're a cat burglar. You got on the lot.
Next
Fuck
Doctor
yes.
Doom is whoever breaks into
Yeah, right.
Marvel Studios
Yes.
with a little army.
So Val Kilmer was the number one choice, and they were actually working on his contract when the casting director saw Kyle MacLachlan in a play, and she's like, I think David needs to meet this guy. I think they will get along great.
Yeah.
And Lynch met with him, and they just clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been clicking ever since because they're both kind of on the same wavelength. The funny thing is, when he was in high school and college, Kyle MacLachlan was a humongous Dune nerd.
Oh no shit. Okay.
Like he had his own like severely creased and beaten copy that he carried with him everywhere. He'd read it like 5 times.
Nice.
He knew parts of it by heart. So he was like the go-to guy on set for, how do you pronounce this?
Okay.
He's like, it's a Gom Jabbar.
That's cool.
And he was basically a technical advisor because he had read the book so many times. But he was really, really into it. But oddly enough, when he and Lynch first met, they just like talked about like the Pacific Northwest and hung out. And then, that was it. He didn't read anything. He didn't, they didn't talk about the movie at all. And
Yeah.
then like the next day, Lynch sends over like a bottle of wine.
Nice.
And it's like, you got it. And he's
That's
like,
cool.
the fuck?
That's cool.
But
though.
that's the way Lynch works. He just knows. One of the cast members that he cast and then had to recast, Gurney Halleck, was originally Aldo Ray, who's an older Hollywood actor who by the 60s was already kind of becoming like a drunk.
Okay.
And David Lynch was a big fan. He's like, I really want Aldo Ray. And everyone told him, don't. He can't work anymore. He's a drunk. He's like, well, we're going to try it. So the first day, Aldo Ray is on set and then disappears into his trailer and doesn't come out. And Lynch goes in there to find out what's going on. And he had come with his son, Eric, who was a teenager at the time. And Eric's like, yeah, he can't do this. I'm sorry. And Lynch is like, oh, all right. So they cast Patrick Stewart.
That's fucking.
But Lynch remembers things. He remembers people. Aldo Ray's son, Eric, who changed his last name to DeRay, became Leo Johnson on Twin Peaks years later.
Wait, Leo John, the boyfriend?
Yeah, the abusive trucker boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Fuck.
So that's how he met Eric DeRay, and that's how he got to know him. And that's how he thought, oh, he'd be great for Twin Peaks.
God damn.
Also in the running for Paul, Michael Biehn,
That'll make-
Kyle Reese
yeah.
from The Terminator, Timothy Hutton, Spicoli, Sean Penn. He was in the running. Tom Cruise was right behind Val Kilmer. And he actually, apparently there are like audition tapes of that I would
Nice.
love to see. But yeah, he didn't quite work out. And there was one other really, Kenneth Branagh. Like a young teenage Kenneth Branagh. Yeah. Wild, right? You know who they originally wanted for Lady Jessica? Glenn Close.
I was gonna
I
guess.
almost said that. It was on the list, and I was like, no,
I
that's
could
not
see
even
her
close.
as the Reverend Mother. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Cool.
yeah.
Cool.
I generally really like this cast. I
Yeah.
think the only one that kind of doesn't work for me is Jose Ferrer as the Emperor.
Sure.
But you know who his son is?
Miguel?
Miguel Ferrer, who ended up on Twin Peaks.
Miguel Ferrer, yeah.
But I don't know. He just seems like he's in a completely different movie from everybody else.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That's not what I expected the Emperor to be like. He was so just like not powerful.
Like powerful, but also like he was like not I'm not gonna say the only one who didn't ham it up, but he was like very serious. It's like Michael Caine in the Muppets Christmas Carol. Like he was like, I'm gonna treat these Muppets like they're real people.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go in I'm going all in with it. Yeah. That's interesting. That's really
funny.
that's very interesting.
Okay, so Drew, did you catch all 6
Twin
Peaks?
Peakers? No. I
All right.
know we got Jack Nance. We got
Kyle MacLachlan.
Stilgar.
Yes, Everett McGill as Stilgar. He was actually, I think, the first person cast.
Okay.
David Lynch.
Oh yeah, David Lynch. Okay, yep. And that's all I can think of.
Okay. This one you're going to get mad at.
Okay, you told me I was going to get mad at one.
Jurgen Prochnow as Duke Leto Atreides. He is in Fire Walk with Me.
Oh, I don't count that. But okay.
It's a pretty crucial.
It
part of
is,
the
but
story.
it's not. It's like it's not the show.
He
But okay.
He gets billing in the opening titles.
A Fire Walk with Me.
A Fire Walk with Me.
Fire Walk with Me is a prequel movie to the show that shows the actual like Laura Palmer's life and then the murder when the show starts with the murder. Okay.
The scene with David Bowie as the long lost Philip Jeffries, where he bursts into the Philadelphia office and I've been to one of their meetings.
Yes.
And he describes the meeting that we see, and it's Bob and Mike and the arm and the boy magician and the grandmother. And there's this character, just the woodsman,
and
who's sitting in the corner going,
yeah, okay.
And that's Jurgen Prochnow.
Okay.
The last one.
Mad about that.
The last one. Any guesses?
No.
Wait for my brother, Baron.
Really?
Alicia Witt. This was her first film role. The Twin Peaks season 2 premiere ends with a big party at Donna Hayward's house.
Right.
And like Donna and James, and I think Maddie is in it at that point, are there. And her little sister, Kirsten, is there.
Kirsten.
And she's this twiggy little redhead kid who plays a piano and wears this little tiara and does this whole like program for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's Alicia Witt.
How did you not know that, Drew?
Well, she comes back in season 3 as a grown up.
I was literally like there's a season 3. I forgot about the Showtime. Okay.
Yes. She's back in that, mainly in the back half of it.
Yeah.
But she's in several episodes of that. She was also in rarely seen or talked about David Lynch project that he did for HBO called Hotel Room. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's basically 3 one-act plays like that all take place in the same hotel room, different years.
Interesting.
And she's in the last one, and it's just her and Crispin Glover.
It's already a winning combination.
Fantastic.
Crispin Glover's the father in Back to the Future. He's Marty McFly's father.
Okay.
And he's just an oddball. If you see him in anything other than Back to the Future, he's just he's a character. Like he's a
creepy thin man from the Charlie's Angels movies.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Good to know. So no, I'm happy with my knowledge of just the 4 people, but okay, cool.
All right. So other fun little facts. The Spacing Guild, like the guy, like not the actual like guild navigator, but the other guys, like the marmalade head guys.
Yeah.
Those are body bags they're wearing. And they did not tell them at the time, but they were
Used.
body
I
bags.
knew you were going to say used.
Why?
Because that's what they had
what
on
they had.
hand.
It's like the same thing when like in film, right, where like
Probably
anything
rinse
up
them
to a
out.
certain point, up to like the mid 80s, if there was a skeleton needed in film,
Oh,
it was a real skeleton that
Yeah.
they used. And like
Because it was cheaper to use a real skeleton.
right,
than
and
a-
that's like the famous scene in not Amityville, the Poltergeist, right, in the pool.
yeah.
All the skeletons that pop up,
They're
in the
real,
pool,
yeah.
those are real, and they didn't tell the actress like
That's
these are real
traumatizing.
fucking skeletons that are going to be bumping
Yeah.
into you. But yeah, okay, so real body bags, and one guy was like, "This smells
Smells
funny."
that,
in
that
here."
was my first thought of wouldn't that smell a little weird?
So there
I think
are
you
some
can get that
alternate
smell out of
versions.
anything.
It smells because of you, Bob. Shut up and
Yeah.
get in the suit.
Because you're sweaty.
yeah,
There are some alternate versions of this film floating around.
yeah, that's right.
Years after it came out, somebody at Universal TV said, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if we did like a TV event and did like a TV miniseries? And because we've got all this like unused footage from Dune, let's like string together like a director's cut." And they contacted David Lynch and Rafaela De Laurentiis, and they're both like, "Okay, yeah, we can do that. We can
Yeah.
work on that." And they're like, "Oh, no, we're not gonna pay you for anything. We just want you to help out." And they're like, "Fuck off."
Yeah. Oh,
Like both of them just said, "Fuck off." So Universal went and did it anyway.
sure. Did they call
And-
it a director's cut or just a
it-
miniseries event?
Well, it was just
Okay.
called the miniseries.
Sure.
And it is technically directed by Alan Smithy.
Yes.
And the writing credit was changed to Judas Booth.
Is that a common like?
I don't know if that's not nearly as common as Alan Smithy.
Smithy. Yeah.
But Lynch just said, nope,
Yeah.
not having any part of this. So that's not a true director's cut.
Right. That's funny.
And it's very sloppy because a lot of the scenes like kind of overlap, and there's a lot of repeated information, kind of like the you mentioned earlier, the Jabba scene.
Yeah.
Where it's just like repeating dialogue like verbatim from another scene, and it's like, oh god. Also, a lot of the effects shots were unfinished, and all of the crowd shots of the Fremen did not go through that final pass where they got the blue eyes. So the Fremen eyes come and go like throughout the film, and it's a real mess. But various people have taken to making fan edits and stuff, and there's this YouTuber called Spice Diver who has put together I think it's around like 3 hours and 15 minutes, and it's widely considered to be pretty much the definitive cut of this film. It reintegrates a lot of the footage, visually corrects the eyes so everybody has matching eyes, takes out anything that gets duplicated or doesn't fit.
Yep.
They couldn't get like Jamas's wife and the kids and that whole plot because most of that shooting was just cut from the schedule.
Yeah.
They never shot it, but it's actually a pretty good cut.
You've watched it?
Yes, I've watched it. They also do some other things. They eliminate a lot of the inner monologue
Okay.
and prove
My
that
favorite part.
pretty much prove that you don't need it.
Yeah.
It's a weird choice.
Well, Laura will be the judge of
I've
that.
always kind of loved it,
Yeah.
but just because it's so odd,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's really not necessary. But you can find that on YouTube, and it's pretty good actually. They also fixed something that I never thought of as a problem. The guild navigator at the beginning has blue within blue eyes, because of course he should, right? Yeah, he literally like lives
Spice?
in a tank of spice.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah. So instead of like an actual like person's eyes looking at
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
play with my mouth.
To be honest, I don't think I saw its
Speaking
eyes.
of that,
I wasn't looking at it.
speaking of that scene, that is the first. Actually, that's the second one in the movie. The first time we have somebody doing double duty and doing voiceover, that secret report within the guild that's putting the planets up on the screen, and
yeah.
that is Kyle MacLachlan.
Okay.
Oh.
Then when we get to the audience with the Emperor, the voice of the navigator is Everett McGill, Stilgar.
Okay.
And then it's Francesca Annis who's dubbing Alicia Witt at the end, which is a weird choice. I don't know why they. But
It sounded creepy.
what's
Yeah,
funny is that
Yeah.
I have always, like, when I saw this as a kid, I thought that girl was awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of fell in love with her because I was that age, and she actually grew up to be a super hottie.
Okay.
You've seen Four Rooms? Anybody seen Four Rooms?
No.
Is that the one with Tim Roth where
Yes.
he goes through like
Tim
it's
Roth is the bellboy.
yeah.
The
so
one
long ago,
the
I can't
story with the
remember.
witches, where there's the one there's like the sullen teenage daughter.
I honestly
It's
can't remember.
Alicia Witt.
I'm gonna have to just look up.
She was on a season of Walking Dead for like half a season.
Oh.
She was one of the saviors. But she's actually in a movie this year, a Nicolas Cage movie. It's a
That's
serial
right.
killer
That's
movie
the
called
one.
Long Legs
Oh,
with Micah Monroe as well. And I cannot wait to see that. It's like, oh my gosh, this is my girl.
Urban Legend. She was
Yes, she was in Urban Legend.
Oh,
88
wait, let me
Minutes with
see.
Al Pacino.
Let me see her just her face.
Vanilla Sky.
'Cause I love
no,
her. I love Urban Legend.
that's her like more
Oh
recently,
yeah,
Natalie.
yeah. I know
Yeah,
her.
She's cutie.
It says Vanilla Sky. You may know them from Vanilla Sky, Twin Peaks, Four Rooms, Dune. Yeah.
What,
The
what's
Last Holiday, Stargirl, the show. Yeah, so she's been around for a long
Yeah.
time.
She's
Oh,
stayed
looks like
busy.
she's been in some of these Hallmark Christmas movies.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
remembering
yeah.
her from Sybil. She was the daughter
Yes,
on
yes,
Sybil.
she was-
Yeah,
Orange is the New Black. She was in that for a bit. Okay, cool.
I love Sybil. Yeah.
But yeah,
Supernatural.
I've always had a huge crush on her.
She was in a little bit of Supernatural. Okay, cool.
Um,
Nashville.
So, real quick before we do the doof meter,
Yes.
I wanted to talk about some versions that never happened.
Okay.
The first person to option the book with the intention of making a movie, maybe, was Roger Corman,
Oh.
who did all sorts of schlocky stuff, filled those drive-in double features and triple features for years and years and years. He got as far as checking out some possible shooting locations, I think in what is now the Czech Republic, would have been Czechoslovakia back then. And that's it.
Okay.
So like eventually he timed out of that and he's like, whatever. It was picked up by Arthur P. Jacobs, who's a producer. He's the producer of the original Planet of the Apes movies.
Sure.
And he envisioned a really grand kind of Lawrence of Arabia in space. He's like, okay,
Cool, yeah.
if you're going to do Lawrence of Arabia, get the guy who made Lawrence of Arabia. So he was really gunning hard to get David Lean to direct
Okay.
Dune. David Lean didn't seem that interested, but he had another problem. Very quickly, there was a writer's strike. This was around like 1972-ish. There was a writer's strike, so it was pencils down on any script work, and he only had like an outline. He's like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? He got as far as making arrangements with the Turkish government to shoot in Turkey, and they agreed to like pick up half the bill.
Oh, fuck.
He's like,
cool.
that's I'm not going to say no to that. That's going to work. And they volunteered the Turkish army for like extras. He's like, okay. Mexico did the same thing, by the way. Like a lot of these Fremen are like Mexican soldiers.
Oh, cool.
Oh, interesting.
So he's like, okay, just gotta get a script together, but can't really work on it just now. When the writer's strike finally ended, he's like, okay, cool, we're go. I can't remember the writer's name. It was a guy who had tried to write a Lord of the Rings adaptation that didn't happen, and that was going to be with John Borman directing, but did eventually write Excalibur for John Borman. So he was on board. He was starting to write. They were looking at a couple of James Bond directors like Terrence Young and Terrence Fisher. And then 3 days after the writer's strike ended, Arthur B. Jacobs had a heart attack and died.
Oh,
And the project died with him.
gotcha.
But the rights were still still tangled up in his estate. So when eventually they started selling off his estate, the rights were picked up by a French consortium of weird producers, including Michel Sardou, who I believe is like is he like great uncle or grandfather to Léa Seydoux?
Oh, really?
Who is in the new Dune movie.
Really?
Yeah. So he hooked up with this insane Chilean-born visionary weirdo named Alejandro Jodorowsky. And they started to piece together what would have probably been the greatest motion picture in the history of film. And it just fell apart at the last minute. And there's a documentary about it. I highly recommend it. It's called Jodorowsky's Dune.
Yeah.
He had the famous French cartoonist Mobius doing costume design and characters like sketches and storyboards. They storyboarded the entire film.
Yeah.
Like he had a full script with full storyboards. H.R. Giger, the Swiss surrealist who designed the creature from Alien, came on board to design the like everything on Giedi Prime, like the Harkonnen fortress, which was basically a giant castle shaped like a fat man.
I love that.
And it's insane. He had Salvador Dali as the Emperor. He had Orson Welles booked for...
that's a good one, too.
Yeah, for the Baron. Mick Jagger was going to be Fade. David Carradine was going to be Duke Leto. And this is how insane Jodorowsky is. He spent 2 years training his like teenage son in like transcendental meditation, jujitsu, judo, karate, kung fu, you name it, so he could be Paul.
Wow.
Like he literally lived as Paul for like 2 years as they were like ramping up production. And then in the end, he needed like an extra 15 million. So they had to start going to like the Hollywood studios, and they all looked at this and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is bug nuts insane. And it took a lot of big departures from the book and from the story of Dune. Fade wins the knife fight at the end.
Huh.
And he slits Paul's throat, but then like this like spirit rises up out of Paul's body, and then everyone in the room, like one at a time, and then they start to do it in unison. They're like, you haven't won because I am Paul. I am Dune. And like Paul's consciousness spreads throughout the entire universe, and he literally becomes every living being. Yeah.
That's weird.
That's
Insane.
cool as hell.
Little bit insane. Basically the whole project got like laughed out of Hollywood. They're like, nope, never gonna happen. And it just kind of died, which is really sad because in the years since, like, and he had these beautifully bound books printed that were the entire script and all the storyboards and all the design materials. A lot of those designs have popped up in other things. A lot of those specific shot descriptions have popped up in other things since then. Like the opening shot of, I think it's Contact, the Jodie Foster movie. The opening shot of that is basically the opening shot of Jodorowsky's Dune. The big fat man castle.
Yeah.
That shows up in Prometheus. That's the big structure they go into.
Yeah.
Like it's very specifically that. Like these things just keep popping up and popping up and popping up. So that is a really fascinating watch, that documentary. Pink Floyd was going to do the score, which is insane. Oh God, it would have been the best thing ever. But then there's the Ridley Scott version that didn't happen, and then this one.
I mean, I'm glad this one did happen.
I'm kind of glad it did happen, mainly because even though this kind of flopped, Dino was good on his word.
Oh,
and he's like, he didn't want to do Ronnie Rocket because they couldn't figure out how to do Ronnie Rocket because Ronnie Rocket's about a 3-foot guy who is kind of a weird shrieking musician who runs on alternating current. And they're like, okay, we need a lead actor who's 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
And at one point they were talking to Carlo Rambaldi, like, can you build like a 3-foot person who's going to be like the main character in a movie? He's like, I did E.T.
Yeah.
And they're like, It was starting to look expensive, but Dino's like,
What else you got? Yeah.
So that's where Blue Velvet comes from.
Yeah.
So
Another one of Lynch's like masterpieces with Kyle McLaughlin, and Dean Stockwell from
and Brad Dourif and Jack Nance.
I didn't know I forgot Brad Dourif was in it. So a bunch of Dune people in it, but also fucking Hopkins, right? No,
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper. Yeah, Dennis Hopper is it's and Laura Dern. Yeah, it's a fucking wild movie. But that one literally doesn't that start off with like an ear in the ground, like a severed ear, just like in the grass and an ant crawling through it. It's weird. Weird. Yeah, cool.
There's also a really funny YouTube clip somebody put together. They did a fake trailer for David Lynch's Return of the Jedi. That is, if you're a big Lynch fan, it is chock-a-block full of just absolute like groaners.
Yeah.
They're so funny, but they're so bad at the same time. Like it opens with Wicket's feet like going through the Endor ferns.
Yeah.
And there's an ear.
Of course. Yeah.
But the oh my god, the Sice Noodles is one of the funniest things. I literally wept when I saw that. I'm like, it's too funny. It's too perfect. it's just too good.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's Dune.
Beautiful.
And nobody had to fuck a popcorn bucket.
No one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laura, thank you that you're the one who said that. Thank you. Awesome.
Once we stop recording,
Yeah.
I don't know. No.
So I think with that, then let's roll out that doof meter here.
Yeah.
And let's see if we got one. Yeah, that'll work. Oh,
You're
lo-fi
trying to
today.
hypnotize us
Yeah.
over here. A little get out situation happening here.
Click, click. All right. So for everyone, you're just to let you know, of course, our patented doof meter is our 1 through 5 rating system, in which we give movies a 1, which means it's a movie, and a 5 is wow, I'm a doof. How have I not seen this before? My life has changed. So, Brian, Laura, what are you giving Dune?
Who wants to go first?
You.
Me?
You.
I am going to give it, and this is no reflection of that I didn't like it,
Sure.
a 2.5. Only because I still knew nothing from pop culture of it. Like I didn't see anything that watching it I was like, oh my gosh, that's where this is from. The only thing I've ever actually, and I don't even know if I did, was like the sandworm, but that might just be because of the new movie coming out. So that's my score on like the doof meter. But I liked if it was just if I liked the movie and like would I watch it again, and would I tell somebody else to watch it, it would be a 4 out of 5. But doof meter rules, I gotta stick with what we mean with it.
Okay.
But and it's probably just because this isn't my genre of movie or like things that I would look out for in pop culture. So that's probably why I wouldn't have like seen anything about this before. But I still enjoyed it. Yes.
Good. All right. Brian.
I am giving it a 3.5. For all the same reasons.
Okay. Okay.
A 2.5.
Right.
You just wanted me to go first to get it. Yeah.
No, I figured mine would be a little bit higher.
I almost went with a 3. I was very.
I was going with a 4. I was leaning towards 4.
Okay. So.
And to me, it's a solid 4. It's not, to me, it's not a masterpiece. I could live with seeing all the other sci-fi movies that I love, but there are things like this. I think at one point in Family Guy, I think Peter Griffin in a memory fights Sting.
I'm sure it happened.
Like,
sure.
The blue eyes. There's just a lot of things, and there've definitely been memes I've seen that have I've seen out there.
Every fall, there's that meme of Muad'Dib in the Starbucks apron.
Yes,
the pumpkin spice must flow.
The spice must flow. Yes.
See, now that I've seen it, I'll probably notice so many things and be like, "Oh, that's what it's from."
And again, there's also, I have seen this before, and this is like, there's a sentimentality with it. This is one of my dad's favorites. Like, he really enjoyed it. I remember watching the Sci-Fi Show with him, the miniseries, and he was just like, "Yeah, this is all right." He's like, "But you got to see the movie." And we watched it, and I was like, I remember being a kid being like, "This sucks," but I remember so much about it, this is like it's a classic. It's one of those ones that it's like when you look at like action movies from the 80s, you're like, the ones you like, you have to see this, and this.
This is one of them.
But then you're like, there's the classics that are also not necessarily thought of immediately. Like you don't think like, and I'm saying you don't think necessarily like RoboCop is your number one action 80s movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like down the list, and this is what this is. It's one of those ones that it's like you got to see it.
I will say, I do want to now see the second part of the new one. I definitely want to.
I do think this helped me understand the modern day Dune movie a little bit more.
Yeah. When they gave that map of the planets at the beginning, I was like, hell yeah.
Very cool. Honestly, the inner dialogue helped in some areas.
Yeah.
Like, it was definitely helpful. In some areas, it was overkill. It was just like, wow, sand. But
yes, yeah.
Poison blade.
Dry, it's coarse. It gets everywhere.
You're, for not knowing the characters as well as you both probably know them, it was helpful at some points.
It's funny too, that one where you just said poison blade. Like, if that blade never touched him, then why the fuck did we need to know it was a poison blade?
Yeah.
Like, it never if he just saw the blade and he was just like, I better not get stabbed by that. Like, you're looking at it like with an intent, like, I don't want to be
I think it was like, because even if it just was a little slice, he was gonna die. So,
but like, if it touched him, then maybe he would have been like, poison blade.
Yeah.
But like, it never touched him.
Yeah.
The stakes were high regardless. There was a blade out of the side of a suit.
Why did he suck so bad fighting Sting when, like, isn't he supposed to be the one?
He was, but when Sting made that passing comment like, "Hey, I'm gonna fuck your girlfriend," then he let emotion get ahead of him for 1 second, and then got kicked a few times.
Gosh.
And then he was just like, "I'm gonna flip you and stab you right through the mouth." That was funny. That was good though. He's just like, "Do I have to give her special attention?"
There's a character in the book that apparently we're getting in the movie in part 2. A guy named Count Fenring, who is the Emperor's best friend and who is a eunuch because he was a failed Kwisatz Haderach. Like, he almost made it, but
that's the computer people.
No. The Kwisatz Haderach is the prophesied one.
He's just a failed.
What Paul he was supposed to be what Paul is, and at the end,
imagine being like, I might be the one, and then nah.
At the end, when
what was the test?
They have the knife
off
fight,
your dick and it doesn't come off.
When they have the knife fight, at first, before they get Fade involved, the Emperor is demanding, like, basically a one-on-one fight.
Yeah.
And he basically hands his blade to Count Fenring. And Fenring, who knows what he's getting into, because he knows this is what he was supposed to be, he takes one look at Paul. He's like, hard pass.
Yeah.
He's like, hard pass. Let the Harkonnen do it. He's like, I'm not walking away from this fight.
Yeah. That's funny. Oh, I love it. All right, let's wheel that doof meter away here. We've got our ratings. There we go. Beautiful.
And I just want to say that when I was watching the new film,
yes,
There are like this one is really ingrained in my head, as is the book. There were scenes from the new film that I felt just fell so flat. The Gom Jabbar test with the box in the new film, I hate it. I like this version better. This version's more visually interesting.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
the
Now
new one,
seeing
it's
this,
so dark.
they could have
it's
done
so
more
dark
with
in
it.
that den.
Yeah.
It's like, can somebody turn on a light?
Yeah.
Really?
But he's tired. It was bedtime.
No.
No.
The shield practice
Yeah.
with Josh Brolin. It's like all that dialogue just sounds wooden coming out of him. It's like I miss the guard yourself for truth.
Yeah.
Like the weird
the
shields.
slow blade
I
penetrates.
love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this one is a lot richer and a lot warmer. It's not as technically adept.
Well, I mean, the pacing is so much faster too. Like, I mean, it's so much faster. Like that.
The new version for me has in no way erased this.
Yes. Okay. I mean, the new one's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
It really is.
It also doesn't. I don't know. It would be interesting to know what you think. But I remember when I watched it, I got to the end and I was like, "Oh shit, that's it already." And it's a long movie, but I did not. I remember feeling like it was long.
That's
did not
interesting.
feel that way.
Laura.
I had
Yeah.
to-
Well, Laura watched it in two
I
shows.
took a break
Oh,
after
really?
30
And
minutes and
Laura-
went back the next day.
Laura literally came up to me. She's like, I started watching. She's like, I think I watched like half of it, and I was like, so like, did the war already break out? She's like, they haven't even gotten to Arrakis yet. I was like, you've watched 25 minutes of this movie. She's like, oh shit, and like I was like, once they get there and all shit goes like down, it's gonna move for
Yeah.
you. But like,
And then I got
Yeah.
I got into it.
it was like another 20 minutes of you being like, so is this gonna?
It's
and then,
a struggle for me to get through the world building
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make sure that I'm following everything when I'm watching it by myself because I didn't have someone to be like, is this what's
Yeah.
happening?
I would also like to say there will never be a better Baron Harkonnen than Kenneth McMillan in this. I love him. I love everything he does is so absolutely terrifying.
It was over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
The most terrifying moment for me is his one little line of like inner dialogue where after he's like, pulled the hard plug on that like hapless little like David Bowie twink
yeah.
and just watched him bleed out. He's just sitting there quietly grinning
what
to
I was
himself and
thinking.
just,
Yeah.
this is what I'll do to the Duke.
Yes.
It's like, yikes. Yikes, my
And
guy.
he's like covered in oil and blood.
yeah.
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 Stellan
It was a real
Skarsgård ain't got nothing on
bizarre
that.
energy.
No.
I've
Not
been
even close.
Waiting for you to do your random segues. Is that what you do? You're like, if you want to be covered in oil and blood.
I feel on the spot now. Now the spice ain't flowing this time.
I
I've
segued
not-
for you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. If you want to control the worm, you can head to reeldoofs.com and check out all the links to our social medias and give us a follow because we'll let you know what episodes are coming and you'll probably vote on stuff at some point.
Yeah, we'll
and
do another vote soon.
we'll let you know when stuff drops. The other way you can know when stuff drops is if you just follow us on whatever platform you're listening to us on. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, do that. It's helpful for us. And if you haven't left a review,
Do that also because it's
do that
very
also.
helpful for us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. And we also want to thank our buddy Sid here for
Yeah.
being here again
Thank
with
you.
us.
Always a pleasure.
Really appreciate you.
And thank you for the coloring books.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited about this thing. This is so
We've
amazing.
never gotten a
South
present
Dakota
before.
Tonight.
Yeah, I know. You're
Oh.
going to color it tonight, did you just say?
Future
Yes.
guest is gonna step it up and
I
start
know,
bringing
right?
presents.
Amazing.
You have to bring a tribute.
Well, again, Sid, thank you so much for this. This was a good one, and I'm glad that you were here for this one.
Awesome. Thank you
Awesome.
for having me.
Thank you all, and good night.